Angeli reporting on immigration live from our studios.
Okay, so here we have Iraq, Syria, and Lebanon. Goes all the way through Turkey and into Bulgaria. So that's the first primary route into Greece, Bulgaria, Serbia, Croatia, Slovenia, and then Austria. And here we have the push factors for the countries of departure. So the darker is the more common push factor. So Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon, Turkey, and Syria are all leaving, mostly because of the conflict in Syria, while the high cost of living in Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon, and Turkey is also causing them to leave. And also for Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon, there's a lack of humanitarian aid and the least common departure. So the darker is the more common push factor. So Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon, Turkey, and Syria are all leaving, mostly because of the conflict in Syria, while the high cost of living in Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon, and Turkey is also causing them to leave. And also for Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon, there's a lack of humanitarian aid.
These are the observed household profiles. What came up most was the young males, and the common characteristics of that was age 18 to 12, traveling alone, and the married males would be 25 to 40 years old, traveling alone but planning for a family to join. What came up second were families, and they were relatively small family groups with an average of 2 children aged 0 to 12 years. Third were young females, single females aged 18 to 30, traveling alone or with friends. Fourth, females with children, usually 25 to 35, traveling with an average of 2 children to 0 to 12 years old. They would usually be widowed or traveling to join family already in Europe. Fifth, unaccompanied minors, children predominantly male, aged 8 to 17, some accidentally separated from family members, others deliberately sent ahead.
Thank you, Angeli, for your insightful news on immigration.
Thank you, Trey. On next, we have David with the weather.
Reporting here in the Syrian refugee camp, these families are facing incredibly tough situations. As you can see, snow is coming down nonstop, and most of these families are ill-fitted for these conditions. They lack warm clothes, warm food, and a warm shelter. Here's a family whose tent has collapsed. Hello, son. Can you explain to us your experience of your tent collapsing?
وأمي طلعت أخوتي.
Why did the tent fall?
كان فوقها ثلج كتير وانهدر.
Here's another boy whose tent has fallen down. Can you explain to us why your tent has fallen?
صار فوق الثلج، ما في حدا يقدر يرقى فوق الخيم، أما هبطت، أما أهل الخيمة راحوا لآخر المخيم. في عندهم جيران قادي تركوا مقراضهم وراحوا هنيك. الخيمة ما عاد أحد يقدر يفوت عليها، وأما هبطت صار فوقها الثلج وهيك دحق له.
As you can see, life for a Syrian refugee is very harsh, especially since the weather is making it worse.
American multinational technology company Google has been suspected for alleged invasion of privacy. In 2006, a video was leaked onto the internet of a group of students bullying an autistic child. This took place at a school in Italy and was kept for almost 2 years. Legal actions was soon taken in 2008 when 3 executives were held accountable for the video. Chairman David Druman, board member George De La Reyes, and the men held responsible for the video. Peter Fletcher were not involved in the video, yet because of their decisions to not remove the video earlier, they faced the consequences.
Another case regarding the right to be forgotten had also taken place in London, England. Privacy dogs give guidelines to Google for their right to be forgotten off of Google's search engine. The right to be forgotten can be applied to any Google sites in Europe. The process to remove links from Google search has been unconsented. There have been many loopholes according to our sources. To find the link, they would have to perform the Google search. The new guidelines issued by a European body, the 28 national privacy regulators, require Google and others to remove links off of sites outside the region as well. Under the EU, everyone has the right of protection. It basically existed before the law was even considered and has arisen from desires of individuals to determine autonomous way without being judged or punished as a consequence of a specific action performed in their past.
Every action must come with consent. If you don't have the consent, it's not right.
Finally, we have Mida and Ku reporting on European cuisine.
Reporting live. So imagine having not enough food to eat when you are migrating. In Europe, there are many types of food that refugees eat when they are migrating. Some types of food are vegetables, fruits, nuts. Some European immigrants had trouble getting and eating food. Many immigrants died from starvation because they did not have enough food and feeding their families. Also, Europeans had some trouble getting food during World War I and II. The immigrants had no food and had ration food. The families did not ration. They most likely died. Most died from starvation. As many as 7.5 million migrants in Europe during World War I. There wasn't that much food. After World War I, people were still scared and worried that there weren't enough food for World War II to break out. Some things would happen. Out of some immigrants, that did live, shared culture and beliefs, values, and importantly, food. There is a lot of food in Europe in my eyes. Europe has the most beautiful food ever, and it's so diverse. Immigrants bring their food and hopes to other countries to start a new life. A lot of immigrants in Europe from close to Africa, Asia, and Russia, as America, Mexico, and Canada, South America. From all those places, I just named knowing somewhat about their food and how some people like it, food. There are many cuisines in Europe, such as Central European, Southern European, Eastern European. Some of them are from Russia and Ukraine to Belgian and German cuisines. Western European cuisines, there is blini, which is a type of pancake, but there's a lot more cuisines out there. So back to you, Trey.
And you could check out more of this fascinating cuisine on our website at bfnnews.org. Thank you for your colorful food, Mita and Koo.
Thank you. And this concludes the entirety of tonight's show.
BFN out.
News.